online. Ghostitron here, and we're blasting off for
the Galaxy of Super Adventure.
Dun dun
Dun, 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 dun.
dun.
Wow, that felt really official.
It did? Yeah.
The live stream is live.
Live stream is live.
And who is that guy who I just heard?
This is Ben Hatke. I am drawing a page from Mighty Jack. I make comics and stories. That's it. I feel like I'm on the podcast. No, I'm drawing a page of Mighty Jack today. Right now I'm doing pencils. And who's this talking to me, segueing so beautifully?
My name is Jersey Drost. I am a cartoonist and one of the hosts of the Galaxy of Super Adventure podcast, and I am drawing page 74 of Boulder and Fleet Adventures for Hire, which you can see the URL at the bottom of the page right now.
Oh, God, you're so good at that.
Who's the other guy? The other guy who we haven't heard yet, and I hope to God he's wearing a shirt today.
All right, hold on. I gotta go do something.
What? What? Are you serious?
No.
Okay.
I'm Zach Giolongo, cartoonist. I have a banjo, I have a beard, and I am working on some exciting Star Wars stuff. And so I have to draw little portraits of all the rebels. So if you like rebels, watch for these portraits.
You could put me in there. I fancy myself a bit of a rebel.
Yeah, you're not on the show, though.
Oh, you have to be on the show.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, afraid so.
That's okay. I'm not really much of a rebel, really.
So you're a rebel maker.
Apparently, yeah.
So this is one of the great things about being a cartoonist is I need some reference, right? So I had to buy this Zeb figure. And it's great. This is one of the Disney Infinity figures.
What do you think of the designs of those guys?
I really like them.
I see. I have a friend who has a big pile of them.
Yeah.
And I always do find myself like looking through them and playing with them. So.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have the game.
Yeah. You buy the figures, you don't have the game.
Right. Just because I think, honestly, if you're like me and you like figures in general, I have like a real thing for figures and toys and stuff. They're sculpted and they're painted so well. I think they're probably the best like figures of any given character that are kind of out right now.
Huh.
So that's why I buy them.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Do you get the amiibos?
Yep. Not all of them.
Oh, that's right. I saw that you were posting on Instagram. You posted Samus Aran and somebody else. I forget who.
Were those
Ray.
Infinity ones?
No, they're amiibos.
No, the amiibos are Nintendo's version.
Oh, okay.
So it's all Nintendo characters.
Oh, okay.
And that's like even more because they have not historically had a lot of good Nintendo figures. So if you're into Nintendo, those are some really good figures to get.
Let me be like a podcast hosty just for a second and say to anybody watching, if you're watching this live, we're streaming live on YouTube and on Google Plus, and I'm going to be watching the comments on my second screen. So if you guys have any questions or comments for us, we could do live mailbag, and who knows, maybe even Rankin the Space Elf will show up to help us read some of the mail. Okay, sorry. Now we're back to being cartoonist drawing.
No, this is good though, Jersey, because I'm wondering if we should even have a topic to talk about. I feel like we're doing a podcast. We don't have to though.
Well, what I'm dying to talk with you about, Ben, is I watched the Supergirl meets the Flash episode last night.
Oh.
Have you not watched it?
No, I have. I really liked it. Well, it had some definite weaknesses, but any part where those two were together, like I was like, oh my goodness.
I loved how Supergirl's coworker, the computer guy, was just like he was so enamored of the Flash.
Yes, yes. Yeah, he was, and even in the back, he was even in the background, just being like, "Yeah, this guy's so cool."
Yes. Every time Barry Allen talked, he was like, "Oh, is he the greatest?" I'm like, yeah,
Yeah,
that was
yeah,
me in that room.
yeah. That was fun, and anytime those two, and then she was just like super like funny, um, just like, oh, here's this other cool superhero that's suddenly here. And so everybody's like, she and the guy who played the Flash both seemed to like super on,
Yeah,
and it just made it really fun to watch.
it was neat to see superheroes work together and get along, and then also like how they were talking shop and comparing notes. Like, oh, we got a guy who does that in Central City.
Yeah, yeah, and that's what I've been saying. Like, I keep going back with this with other things, like how the Marvel ones have been playing with all these different like, like movie genres. They kind of dipping their feet into. So like oh, Captain America's The Winter Soldier's a thriller, and like Ant-Man's like a heist movie. I would just love it if they would just do a dramedy or like a comedy, or just or maybe even a romantic comedy, where it's just superheroes and it's like, I don't know. I just like the world, and they don't have to be doing. It doesn't have to end in a big villain fight every time.
Ah,
Anyway, I don't know.
so
Different.
was that one of the parts you didn't like about the new episode?
I did not like the villains. They were awful. They kind of whenever they were on, they just kind of sucked the life out of everything with their campy ways. And I don't like it's not even blaming it's just like seemed like they were kind of written in there, and nobody cared about that part so much.
We needed somebody for Supergirl and the Flash to fight together.
Exactly. Yeah. So
Ben,
yeah, I'm doing. Go ahead, Zach. Go.
I really liked that article that you
The Superman one?
posted. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I shared it out, and a lot of other people liked it as well.
Oh, good. Yeah. And Supergirl got a shout out in that too. I just think like
Yeah,
it's really a particular thing that like the properties dealing with Superman have done one thing, and it's fallen to Supergirl, this small like Supergirl television show, to give us this optimistic version of somebody with an S. You know. But it's great. I every time I watch that show, all I think is like, I wish I was like in high school, because I had like Lois and Clark.
Oh, that's right. You're right. And it felt like like in those days when we were in high school and these shows were coming on, like there was a Flash TV show in the '90s, and it felt
Oh
like
yeah.
they tried really hard to like make the villains not very super villainish. Like they couldn't wear costumes. Like Captain Cold was like a dude in a suit, you know.
Oh, okay.
And I feel like even whatever you have to say about the villains in this latest episode, at least like when Great was it Silver Banshee, when she walked out, I was like, wow, it's a supervillain costume.
Yeah. She was like, I'm a supervillain. Here I am. I got a skull head.
But I mean, and I'm such a sucker for the scene, like, and we've seen it 100 times where the hero gets knocked down by the bad guys, and then like the civilians like, you can't do that, like Superman 2 they did it, Spider-Man 2 they did it.
Wait,
I'm
what
a
did they do?
I'm a total sucker for that when the civilians stand up for the hero scene, and then like when
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
then the fireman at the end who's like, it's our turn to help you.
that's my.
Yeah.
I will admit to getting misty in Spider-Man 2 when that happened.
On the train.
Yeah, I
The
love
train.
that scene where they're like, he's just a kid. Like
Yeah.
the mask comes off. I like that.
And then the best part of that scene is that then they do the thing where they stand in front of Spider-Man like, you're gonna have to go through us, and then Doc Ock's like, okay, and then he just smooshes them aside.
Yeah.
That acknowledge the realism of that moment without taking away any
Right, right.
the heroism and drama of that moment.
Yeah.
Nope.
But I was having a conversation with somebody about this very topic because I had somebody on Twitter sent me a link to this HeMan video game that somebody made. It's a PC game where it's like all the assets are made from Filmation model sheets.
Oh,
So I mean,
sweet.
yeah, it looks fantastic. I'll send you guys a link to it. It looks terrific, and it's got all the original music, and you can play He-Man or She-Ra or Panther. So you know, it looks great, except it's like a side-scrolling fighting game. So what's He-Man gonna do, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so suddenly a bunch of Shadow Beasts walk in the room, and I'm watching He-Man punching a bunch of Shadow Beasts, and like the cognitive dissonance kicked in hardcore, and I'm like, conflicted. I don't know how to feel about this.
Yeah, yeah.
And so then, which led to a conversation about like, you know, like people saying like, well, we're in a cynical time. That's what people want. I'm like, is it cynicism or is it juvenilism? Is it a cynical play
true,
for
true.
a juvenile approach to problem solving?
Did you
That's
read
actually
that
very
Superman article? That Jersey?
What's that?
Did you read the Superman article that Ben posted?
Oh, you know I did. I read it
Yeah.
like days ago, and like I was like, I can't wait for Ben to read this.
Okay.
And then I even said something to Ben about like, oh, I was wondering what your thoughts were. And Ben was like, oh, you know my thoughts.
Well, the other thing I was thinking of is like I don't know, storytelling and heroes and all. I'm wondering, like, so now we've had, you know, Batman v Superman, but now I'm wondering about like, I have no idea what like Captain America Civil War is going to be like, but the premise of a story where, you know, people have disagreeing ideas about what like two well-meaning people have serious disagreements about what the right thing to do is.
Yeah.
Is kind of an interesting thing. And like, not so much like Daredevil and Punisher way, where like Punisher's like, let's just kill everybody, and Daredevil's like, let's just punch everybody, but just stop short of killing them. I mean, that's kind of silly, but like to have an actual like complex moral disagreement between two good people at the center of a story is an interesting idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, because I think too, it's you know, we're living in a time right now where people want, you know, things to be so black and white. You know, it's either this or that. It's either right or wrong. And it's like, well, you can have two differing opinions that are both right.
Right.
Hey, Zach.
What?
Only Siths deal in absolutes. Look, I can.
Which
Star
is
Wars
ridiculous. Okay, you opened up a can of worms. Which is like ridiculous because the Jedi are just as like, no, you can't do this. You can do that, but you can't do whatever.
but Obi-Wan trained under Qui-Gon.
Yeah.
Who didn't believe in absolutes.
Right.
I don't know.
Well, you know, there is an analysis that I like. I think it's a little bit retconned, but whatever. That says that the Jedi, in the prequels, the Jedi sort of monastic, you know, kind of borderline draconic view of things is what led to their downfall.
Yeah.
And that it is Luke who is sort of like a new kind of Jedi that's not as, you know, he is a Jedi that's like, hey, if your friends are in trouble, go help your friends. You know, who's not afraid to, like, love or have attachments to, you know, things and people that are important to him.
I like that.
And that's sort of the lesson of the Jedi.
That answers a lot of issues I have with the story in general.
Yep.
Arg. So here's the thing. So people can only see your awesome work if you're talking. Is that right? It goes over to your screen if you're the one talking.
So what I can do is, if you want, I can also I can bring Ben up even if I'm talking and say like, okay, we're gonna focus on Ben for 10 minutes.
Oh, I see.
and I can say we can focus on Zach for 10 minutes, right? So like, oh, he's drawing Twi'leks, so we better stay on that for a while.
He's drawing Twilight?
Yes,
Oh,
Yeah, for my fanfic.
cool.
where all the monsters save Zach. It's just a parade of werewolves carrying Zach.
I'm the king of the werewolves.
You are swarthy.
I'm not swarthy. I'm hairy. I'm not swarthy.
What's the difference?
Swarthy is like dark skinned as well.
I thought it was just like a hairy fella.
No, swarthy's like.
No,
hairy
Zach's
and
saying that our word
dark-skinned.
for hairy fellow is hairy fellow.
Okay.
or hirsute. I'm hirsute. Hirsute.
Oh my god.
Yes. Swarthy
No, I'm
is
just
like,
curious. Oh, go ahead.
like Mediterranean complexion,
Oh, and a pirate.
and pirates can be swarthy for sure.
I stand corrected. Check my privilege. It's pirates after all.
All right. Okay. I'm gonna start inking.
Oh, I should do that.
So I have to say, one of the benefits of drawing Star Wars is I'm definitely getting better at drawing things like ships and technology and things like that.
Yeah.
Because that is not something that comes very naturally to me. Like I have to really sit and like break it down and like, okay, this is essentially a box. This is essentially a cube.
You're like, calm down, Zach. It's like a box with wings.
Yep.
That's how I feel about ships too.
Yeah.
Well,
And
that's why, like, if I'm making up a ship, it'll look like more like an organic thing,
yeah.
because that's where my comfort is.
Hmm.
I am not Jake Parker.
No. Not to mention like drawing that ship in perspective.
Yeah, yeah.
Like drawing an X-wing with its wings unfolded in perspective is not as simple as you would think. TIE fighters are a little easier because it's just a ball with two big panels on the side.
Now, okay, you can help me solve a riddle that I've been puzzled about since I was a kid, but not puzzled enough about to go to Wikipedia on. So when I was a kid, I thought they were called TIE fighters, like that the twin ion engine naming was retcon because they were really named that because they looked like bow ties.
Oh.
Am I wrong?
I don't know. I haven't heard that, but I wouldn't be surprised if that was probably what they originally called them when they were building them, and then they just, I'm like, I don't know if I would call it a retcon, but something, famously like all those aliens in the cantina had different names when they were on the set. Like that's where those names like Hammerhead and stuff like that came from. And then later they invented other names for them. But that's interesting about the TIE Fighter.
Well, it might very well be. I like the. Oh gosh darn it! My Hangouts notifications keep popping up my screen. Stop it! I'm gonna put a video on one of you guys for a second while I deal with this conversation.
Put it on Ben.
Put it on Ben. Put it on Ben. All eyes on Ben.
I'm making boxes. I'm not at the good part yet.
And see, like, this is one of the things, too. It's like, for this illustration, I have to draw a side view of this ship, and from the side, it just doesn't really look like much. So I'm gonna fudge it. Gonna give it a little bit of perspective. So Ben, what are you working on?
I'm working on page 126 of this second book of Mighty Jack.
Nice.
So yeah, it's my first car chase, and I feel like I'm condensing a lot of information into a few short pages.
That's good.
It is. It's pretty cool. It's always a weird balance to strike. How much, when to spread out and when to just try to get through it.
Yeah. So
What
I
was you
read
saying?
on Twitter the other day, someone said every page of a comic should have a purpose other than just a joke. If it doesn't have a purpose, take it out.
Okay.
I've been mulling that over. Like, I agree every page should have a purpose, but I think that within a longer form narrative, it's okay to have pages that are support pages, that are building pages, you know? Like,
But that's a purpose, right? I mean, I don't know.
yeah. Well, but if that's the case, then I don't really know what a page with a non-purpose is, I guess.
Yeah, I don't think that. Yeah, I mean, I think that's like saying, I don't know, every line should have a purpose.
Yeah.
And how could you have a line that doesn't have a purpose?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't think that. I don't know. Makes a whole lot of sense. Because even every panel has one or multiple purposes, right? The one I'm working on here at the top is like, here we go, establishing panel. Let's remind everybody where we are.
Yeah. I mean, unless it is like, I don't know. I don't know. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's just like so here, like this first panel is the establishing one. It's like I really, even when thumbnailing, I had it kind of closer in, and I was like, no, we need to pull the camera out. We need to remind everybody where everything in this room is.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's not just the conversation that's happening. It's also showing where everything is.
Yeah.
And then this is a right hand page, so I'm actually should have probably had the car facing toward the page turn, but in general it stops at a moment, which makes you say, oh, hopefully that last moment on that page says, oh, I should turn the page and see what the next one is.
Yeah.
So I think a lot about the last panel on the right hand page.
I do too, and I sort of wonder if other people do. Like, I sort of wonder how much that part of the craft of comics is thought of or is sort of addressed.
Page turns?
Page turns, the 180 rule. I try to tell my students about the 180 rule all the time.
Remind me what the 180 rule is.
So it's actually, you see it a lot in film.
Yeah.
But it works in comics as well, which is if you have two characters conversing, you always want them on the same side, even if you're changing the angle, because then it keeps it's easier to keep where you are, where you.
It doesn't disrupt the visual flow. Like, think of a Bert and Ernie skit on Sesame Street, and if panel 2 suddenly they were flipped.
Yes.
Even though we understand what's happening, it causes some cognitive dissonance. And this is the thing that's really difficult to teach people is that a lot of the stuff, the decoding is happening in the background, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't know what you're decoding while you're doing it, but you know when it feels wrong. You know when it feels
right.
Yeah.
And you might not even know what it is that's making it feel off, but it feels so. Like, that's why a cartoonist's job is like Zach and I both. I think we talk about this a lot on shows and in our classrooms. Is to achieve clarity, which means freedom from ambiguity, which means the audience shouldn't know what you had to do in order to get them to understand this.
Right.
Yeah. So like,
and you notice, like in movies, like I tell my students, I'm like, watch a movie. Once you're aware of this trick
Right.
or this rule or whatever, you'll see it all over the place, and you'll notice when someone breaks it. And it's like, even if you change the angle of like, okay, now we're over this character's shoulder, now we're over that character's shoulder, they're still physically going to be on the same side of the screen.
Hey, do you ever watch Every Frame of Painting?
I've heard of it. I think I've
Okay.
seen it.
There's some good information about left versus right in that, where they use the you know the movie Snowpiercer?
Yes.
It's like, it really is like and once I started watching this, it really is a really fantastic examination of like left versus right in filmmaking.
Yeah.
Because they're on a train and he's actually trying to linearly get from the back of the train to the front of the train.
Right.
And it could easily become so confusing.
Yeah, and all the action is moving from left to right.
Yes, so he's constantly moving from left to right to keep you on that, to keep you aware of your bearings, right?
Yeah.
To keep us aware of where we are.
Yeah.
Ashley Knapp is commenting. She says, in my opinion, support pages are completely essential, and jokes pages are too. Stories that are too heavy plot often lose their humanity. Stories feel mechanical without the humor and timing eccentricities of the auteur. But cliffhangers at the end of the page are essential. It takes a lot of pages to build up that instinct, though, before it becomes natural. And I think that that's what you were sort of alluding to, Zach, is like, for us who have done our 2,000 pages, as Dave Sim called it, you know, it's like this probably is like an instinct now.
Yeah.
But when you're starting out and when we're working with students, we see that that instinct is not in place yet, is it?
Right.
I would say habitual more than instinctual, because like I still, like, I had this whole scene thumbnailed and I was like, I realized that I needed to draw a moment out further, but I didn't get it the first time. I didn't realize it when I originally put the pages together, and it was only when I was finally I almost got to inking the page before I realized this moment is happening too quickly after the last moment, and it's a better reveal if I ramp it up. So I bled all that out into 2 more pages, and so I think that it was the habit of looking at it and you know, re-examining that,
And knowing what to
more
look
than like instinct, because instinct says that you just know, but
Yeah, I would
like
agree
a
with
habit
that.
of kind of.
I love it when we argue semantics. It is so fun to argue semantics with you guys.
I don't know.
No, I genuinely enjoy it. It's really fun.
Okay.
This is like these are the kind of conversations when I was like 14. I was like, I hope someday when I'm a professional, I'll be able to argue about this kind of stuff with other cartoonists.
Yeah. Well, from now on, I'm just gonna be like, come on, who cares, Jersey?
No
Nobody
way.
cares about that.
Arguing about this stuff is this like what makes life worth living.
Yeah. Agreed.
More so than love and family.
It's arguing semantics, man. That's what it's all about.
Being insufferable know-it-alls.
It's the meaning of life.
Yeah, Jersey, what is best in life?
Arguing about
Insufferable
unimportant
know-it-all.
issues. Yes, this is going to be my Christmas movie.
A lonely old curmudgeon learns the true meaning of Christmas. Arguing about
the old man.
Oh,
Rachel's
3PO.
necktie picture.
What's that?
Rachel Polk is watching, and she just sent me a TIE Fighter necktie picture.
Ooh, like so you could buy a TIE Fighter necktie?
Apparently.
Hmm.
Speaking of Christmas movies, can we talk about that just for a second?
If we must.
Sure.
Uh-oh.
Ben,
Or-
do you need
or
to
we could
learn?
talk-
Ben, are you
What?
being an old curmudgeon that needs to learn the true meaning of Christmas?
Yes. What? Yeah, I guess I am.
Either that, or I wanted to broach the subject of Ben's excellent idea of a gritty Count Chocula movie.
Oh, we could talk about that, man.
What was this? I think I missed this.
Oh, well, I was wondering about Count Chocula, whether it was a actual vampire,
Hmm.
or, you know, just what the deal is with Count Chocula.
Well, he's got those teeth.
Are they square or pointy?
They're definitely pointy. He
Oh,
definitely got fangs.
No, they're like rabbit teeth, man. I gotta find a picture of Count Chocula now.
somebody give us a. No, we got people watching. Somebody find us a picture of Count Chocula.
They're like bunny teeth.
Are they?
Yeah.
Okay. So he might just be a nobleman. That's my
With
thing.
an-
He
with
might
an-
just be a serial obsessed nobleman.
So he's a
Like
he's a
he's a
nobleman
count.
with an unfortunate overbite.
Well,
Well,
yeah. Zach,
there's-
years of inbreeding have,
We saw that 30 Rock episode.
what?
We saw that 30 Rock episode. It could be a whole bunch of jokes to be made about noblemen and weird physical affectations.
Yeah.
With Paul Rubens.
Yes. Anyway, so Ben posted, perhaps he's a serial obsessed nobleman.
And then we decided that there should be like a really gritty for us who grew up with Count Chocula and obviously care more about it than the kids
Yeah.
of today. We want a
Yeah.
gritty Count Chocula movie.
This
Right.
isn't your father's Count Chocula.
Yeah, yeah. We want to well, see, like we want to instead of making it fun, we want to examine what it would be like if he really existed in our world,
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
like
Now
they did
would
with
he?
Batman.
So Chocula v. Frankenberry.
Oh, yeah, it ends
Ooh.
with him breaking Frankenberry's neck.
Yeah, well, Frankenberry, like when you look at that, he's clearly a monster. But my question is whether Count Chocula. So I guess if they're all monsters, then yeah, then he must be a vampire for real.
Now would we
Oh
write
dear me!
money out
Oh
for
dear me!
continuity?
Here's a space screwdriver. Oh.
What? Oh, hi 3PO.
Sorry, puppet show.
Are we doing the
Make a
puppet show
puppet
now?
show.
Should I play some ship noise?
Well, we could have a commercial break from you know who, Lord Hasselgassel.
Oh. Brought to you by. Now, how do we feel about Fruit Brute?
I never knew about Fruit Brute. I
I
only
didn't
knew there
either.
were three. There was Count Chocula. Don't tell me. I knew of the three of them: Count Chocula, Frankenberry. Wait. It's not Blueberry Mummy. Oh, Ghost. Ghost. Oh no. Ghost. It was a ghost one, right?
This
what
is
you're
the part
going-
where the kids are like, "Geez, Dad."
I don't know. Frankenberry, Count Chocula. Oh God, I
You're
can't.
close with Blueberry.
I was.
Yeah, but think of puns. Think of puns with a ghost and blueberries.
Booberry.
Yeah.
Is that it? Booberry. He
Yes.
was a ghost.
Yay!
I did it.
Wasn't there a mummy? Wasn't there
There
a
might have
mummy
been.
also? Like Yummy Mummy or something?
Mm-hmm. Booty yummy, mummy makes your tummy go yummy. And all that is like,
Was his name really Yummy Mummy?
It was Yummy Mummy. He was fruit flavored. It was like multiple fruits, and he was like a colorful mummy.
And Lord Hasselgassel will get his own cereal one of these days.
The Hasselgassel Food Empire.
Yes, the Hasselgassel Holiday Loaf and Cereal Empire.
Now, would it be a hot cereal or a cold cereal?
A cold. Cold like my very soul.
I had no idea, Lord Hasselgassel.
Yeah.
Warn me next time so I could do the transition.
Oh. I'll
We need
warn
to-
you next time.
Actually, I should have grabbed the. We'll be back after these messages.
Well, I should have written up a quick commercial.
Next time.
Cold like the blood of the young people that's infused into my veins.
Because he's still alive.
Right, because you got to do
He's
like
Miss
some kind of,
Hasselgassel's grandfather.
so he's
That's
like Mr.
incredible.
Burns.
She's no spring chicken.
No.
No.
I mean, she's already got great grandchildren.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I must have missed that episode.
Yeah, she does. Yes. Gotta latch the door behind you. Make sure it latches. Good. Good. I think you got it. Good.
So Zach, I saw you posting about Rebels, the finale.
Yeah.
I haven't watched any of Rebels yet, but I keep hearing wonderful things about it.
It gave you the heebie-jeebies. Is that right?
What?
I'm talking about things. Is that why you're making those noises, Zach?
No, it's so good.
Oh, okay. I was kind of teasing.
It's just it's so cold in the studio today.
Did you hear that?
What were you doing?
Can you hear that?
Yeah, that was after these messages.
Oh. Now, where were you about 2 minutes ago? It's all about timing, Zach.
Oh. Do you know what the most important part of telling a joke is?
What's that? Grandpa.
Timing.
That's commitment.
That was great. Thank you, Zach.
Man, do either of you have a light box?
I do.
I
Yeah.
need a light box.
It's helpful.
Yeah. I had borrowed one for a while from a friend who built it out of an old, really old scanner.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, because it had the light underneath. It was pretty ingenious. Like
Yeah.
he's all MacGyver-y like that. So.
No, mine. I inherited mine. It's got some like I don't know what's that kind of light, halogen tube lights.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it works really well. Would you like a look?
Maybe.
We can give a look. Hang on a second. Here we go.
Give us a squint.
Okay.
Is that your doorknob collection?
Yeah. Whoop. Ooh.
Hello, Ben.
Hello. Try to turn it around. There we go. There's my light box.
Ah, very nice.
Ta-da. And then you have a little switch on the side.
Yeah.
And it lights up.
I've seen they actually make.
They work better if you
drafting
cover them with all kinds of garbage. Joel. How you doing up there? So we got to count Chocula.
We got a a picture of Count Chocula?
Yeah, I'll forward it to you guys.
Where are you guys seeing this?
On Twitter.
I bet I could rip that audio and we could use it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking at my sound bank, and all I've got, besides like the Galaxy Superventure background noises, it's got a whole bunch of HeMan morals. That won't do.
You know, Orko.
Today, I want to talk to you about courage. Now, courage not only means being brave in the face of danger, it also means having the strength to say no when your friends are trying to talk you into doing something you know is wrong. In short, courage means having principles and sticking to them, no matter what. See you all again soon.
The best part is all again soon.
Yeah. Good old HeMan.
Oh,
What a guy.
bye, HeMan. So anyway, you didn't tell me about Rebels. You just kind of made some like weird noises.
Oh, well, I don't want to spoil anything for you.
Well, you can sell me on something without spoiling it, can't you? Or is it all like plot-based? Like
Do you need to be sold on it? It sounds like you're already going to watch it.
Well, I've got a priority list here, pal. I got, you know,
okay.
there's only so much bandwidth.
Okay, well, so here's the thing. So you liked Clone Wars.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, so I think Rebels is more solid than Clone Wars.
What?
There's less filler episodes in Rebels.
Okay.
Also, you know, you've only got 2 seasons, so it's not like that big of a commitment. You know, it's not like just jumping into Clone Wars right now.
I see.
And it is, in a lot of ways, a direct continuation of the Clone Wars.
Oh, so it takes place between Clone Wars and
It takes place 5 years before A New Hope.
Okay.
So it really is like the bridge series. But like different characters from the Clone Wars show up in Rebels. And you don't want to miss that.
So wait a minute, so like Anakin might show up?
Well, technically he's in it, yes.
What do you mean
Darth
technically?
Vader's in it.
What? Oh, Darth Vader. Oh, so it's after. Oh, that's right, because it's after Episode 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeep. Guys, I'm going to have to go get my power cord.
Uh-oh.
And I started with a full battery.
Oh. Do you have other apps running?
Not really. I think this just is... I think streaming video just eats it up real quick.
How's your battery doing, Zach?
Let's find out. Oh, yeah.
Well, you guys both... Oh, Zach, you have a hard out in a little while anyway, right?
Yeah, once my car comes back, I gotta go.
So we should wrap up in a few minutes anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so is it time for action items?
Sure.
This is a real podcast now.
Like a proper podcast. Here we go. Oh, I gotta hit the button. Action items. All right, so whoever's drawing setup you enjoyed the most, how about that? Whoever had the best drawing setup. And I'll rifle through them real quick. Here's Ben. Here's Zach. And here's mine. You got to vote for them. Vote with your tweets. Or with your social postings. So Zach, what should they do if they liked your setup the best?
They should come find me on Instagram, and I will. Okay, I'm gonna put out something extra as well. I've been getting on Instagram. People will post pictures of stuff that they've done in the Star Wars Doodle Book. So if you have the Star Wars Doodle Book and you have a doodle that you think you are particularly proud of, please post it and tag me in the post.
There we go. All right.
And that can be on like Twitter and stuff too. It doesn't have to, if you're not on Instagram, it doesn't have to be on Instagram.
But Instagram is your favorite.
Instagram is my favorite.
Okay. So we want to please Zach.
This pleases me.
Thumbs up or thumbs down, Zach? I want to know. All right, Ben, what should people do? They like your setup.
Just find me on Twitter and tell me you liked my setup.
Okay. Your sweat up. That was a Freudian slip.
My sweat up. Ugh.
All right. So Ben Hatke on Twitter.
Yeah.
And if you liked my setup the best, I would love it if you went to boulderandfleet.com. I'm putting it up on the screen right there. Look at that. Boulderandfleet.com. It's this comic that you're looking at right now with these lizards and mineral gals and bears and birds and tractors. One of my favorite pages just posted today, as a matter of fact. So go check it out and share it with friends. That would make myself very happy. All right, guys. Are you ready to go home, Ghost of Time?
Affirmative.
Okay. So who's going to say it?
Don't let everybody volunteer at once. Hey, Julia, can you say it?
I was just going to say,
Julia
why don't you
say
have Julia say it?
Julia, can you tell me something real quick? Can you say take us out, Ghostotron? And can I see your beautiful face? Here. You have to go, take us out, Ghostotron.
You can find show notes in this episode and show archives at comicsaregreat.com/ghosta. Please subscribe to the show using a podcatcher like iTunes. Positive reviews are appreciated. I will happily relay your messages to the phone. If you email me at ghostotron@gmail.com. My Twitter username is Ghostotron. Follow me there for short updates about the podcast. Thank you for listening. Until next time, gotta go!
Hang out, buddy.